Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight Podcast. We know you've been waiting for this one because we're going to do our best to do justice wrapping up Drive Angry, which is just a cool movie. No joke, just cool. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan. How are we doing?
I'm cooler than the other side of the pillow, baby.
I'm driving angry.
Yeah, me too, man. That's just... I got to get the soundtrack for this movie, and it's just going to be labeled the only driving jams you'll have.
Yeah.
I'll drop it right now.
Excellent. Okay, so where we last left off, the accountant is just very easily convinced two cops come with him to kill Milton. At which point we cut back to where Milton and Piper are staying, the Bull by the Balls. And this scene also cracked me up because when we cut back, Piper is getting her toenails painted by the bartender or barback that she had been eyeballing earlier, who's butt naked. While she's getting her toenails painted, there is a couple having very loud sex in the very next room. And so Piper actually interrupts the pedicure to bang on the wall and tell them to pipe down. At which point, the camera swings around, and we see what's going on in the next room, and it is fucking bonkers. There is nothing that is going to prepare you for what's happening on the other side of this wall.
Or what the name of the song that is being played, which is called I Like to Rock by April Wine.
Cool. I also like to rock.
And or roll.
So what we see is the waitress that was hitting on Milton stark naked. Milton is fully clothed.
Yes.
Wearing sunglasses and smoking a cigar as this lady is just going nuts on his junk. And he's not moving at all. All of the slamming, banging, and noise is coming from the waitress. Not Milton.
Just going reverse cowgirl so hard.
It's absurd. It's an absurd scene. At this point, the weird leather motorcycle jacket dude walks by Piper's window. Who she sees a shadow pass. She goes to the window and she spots him, and it looks like he walks into the main bar. And she goes into the main bar. She doesn't see anybody, but on one of the TVs, the bar is empty. There's nobody in there. But on one of the TVs that's still left on, a news program is playing out about the cult guy from Milton's flashback when he was driving the Charger, which is pretty prescient because who walks into the bar but said cult leader. And it turns out that leather motorcycle jacket dude is one of his cultists. So a bunch of dudes come in, all wielding like a variety of weird melee weapons, like mini sledgehammers and like sickles and like lead pipe, shit like that. It's an odd assortment of weaponry.
It's the kind of shit you find laying around in the street in like a beat 'em up game for Sega Genesis.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's like a video game's concept of weapons. And by the way, that is a theme that persists throughout this movie because I'm going to have to call out another one that we see later on. It's all video game weapons from top to bottom. It's kind of hilarious. So, like Piper, ducks down and hides behind the bar, and the cult leader instructs all of his followers to basically just go kill Milton. It looks like he showed up explicitly to kill Milton. The men file out to go about their business, but the cult leader like pauses when he gets to the door, like he's heard something, and then he goes to look behind the bar, and when he looks behind the bar, nobody's there. Piper has wisely moved hiding spots as he walked back, and then the cult leader goes and leaves. She gets also, this place is like a weird redneck shenanigans. Like there's a bunch of shit on the walls and it's mostly just farming equipment. So Piper tugs on a number of instruments till she finally pulls literally a hoe off the wall. That's the only thing that she can get detached. So we cut back to Milton getting fucked. And of course, now this is the one bit I had to double check. Shoot 'em Up did come out first.
Yeah.
So they completely stole this bit from Shoot 'em Up. But to give them credit, they were like, "What about that really cool scene from Shoot 'em Up?" They're like, "Yeah, that scene was awesome." And they're like, how do we make it cooler?" And they had some fucking ideas. So the cultists burst in. Oh,
you forgot the best line in the whole movie.
That is why I'm pausing. Ryan, take it away.
All right, so she asks him, "Baby, why don't you take your clothes off?" Nick Cage replies, "I never disrobe before a gunfight."
It is an awesome line. And of course,
movie rules.
This movie fucking rules. Put it on the board. The cultists burst in, and Milton rolls the waitress over on the bed a few times, shooting cultists. He shoots one from around the back. That's right. There's a number of times in this movie he does he puts the handgun around his back and shoots somebody for no reason other than it's cool. It's not more efficient. This isn't John Wick. This is just dope.
Rule of cool.
Yep. Rule of cool. By the way, the guy he shoots from around the back, he shoots him so hard he flies out the window. So he picks up the waitress again while avoiding gunshots. Shoots a cultist comes at him wielding machete, like in both hands. And before he can raise it up over his head, Milton shoots the machete again so hard, the machete, the dull end, goes back into the cultist's face, almost cutting his head.
Oh, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. Love to see it.
Unfortunately, one cultist gets the drop on Milton and hits him with a cattle prod. So Milton is forced to the ground. Waitress is underneath him. He's being shocked by a cattle prod. And because they are still in the act of copulation, we can only assume that's the reason why. But the waitress is being electrocuted as well, which is, by the way, that's what I'm assuming in the writer room. They're like, how do we make Shoot 'em Up cooler? It's like, what if he gets shocked with a cattle prod, but because he's still having sex, the person he's having sex with gets electrocuted too. And they're like, oh, that's cool. That's how we're going to shoot it. That's how we're going to shoot it. So Milton is struggling against the forces of electricity going through his body and manages to shoot the cultist, shocking him in the foot, takes a swig out of a Jack Daniels bottle, and then shoots that cultist in the face. He's then rushed by a cultist with a sickle, but Piper steps in at the last second, killing him with a blow to the back of the head from her hoe. Milton stands up and buckles his pants, and the waitress is super freaked out, and Piper notices that her bartender boy toy did not survive this particular cultist massacre. I said this particular one because there's a number of cultist massacres in this film.
There sure are.
Yeah.
Sure are.
Wonder what the kill count is on this.
Absurd. That's what the kill count is. The kill count is fuck you. Milton grabs his bag, tells Piper they should hurry because there's probably more. The accountant shows up as Jonah King, the cult leader, and his remaining followers exit, but the accountant ignores King, a wanted fugitives, clearly, but acknowledges him with a look. The accountant does a whole lot of locking eyes significantly with characters in this film.
Oh, by the way, I found the body count of this movie.
It's 42 for Cage, 2 for Piper, or 4 for Piper, 3 for the accountant, and 2 for Jonah King.
Yep, it's 52 overall, but there are unconfirmed and uncounted ones.
Ah, interesting.
We don't know what the accountant did to the survivor of the church, and the accountant drove through a bunch of police cars and they all exploded, but we don't know if people were in them.
Yeah, we'll get to that scene when we get to that scene.
Yes, we will. I was just saying
about this truck, which is bonkers.
Yes,
like everything in this movie.
It's a mini Hindenburg.
So the cops spot Milton and immediately open fire on him, hitting him in the torso. Him and Piper are taking cover, and Milton hands Piper one of the many guns that he seems to always be carrying around. And Milton gets a bead on the one cop, but the other one is flanking them and charges at them. And Piper does not hesitate. She puts one in the chest of this guy, putting him down. but her shot causes this cop to shoot the other cop directly in the head from across the courtyard of the bull by the balls. Piper and Milton then take off in the Charger. Milton locking eyes sensuously with the accountant on the way out. We really got to try and do the sexual tension justice in this film because there's some weird moments of it. So as they're driving away, Piper comments that Milton's gunshot wound already looks better. It's stopped bleeding. Piper also asks why the cops just shot at him instead of trying to arrest him, and asks if he's a murderer or escaped from prison. And Milton's basically like, yes, like both of those things. Correct. She pulls a gun on him, and Milton explains that the cultists he's chasing killed her daughter. We learn this is the straight razor Jonah King kill lady, and that they took her baby, and he's gonna get that baby back. And he means it. But right after he provides this explanation, their car is rammed from behind by the accountant. The accountant pulls alongside them, but Milton immediately shoots at him, which is funny. That's his immediate reaction. Milton has Piper get him his weird hell gun.
Get me the big knife.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I didn't do that last scene. Quite the amount of justice it deserved. The accountant pulls up next to him, like motions to roll down the window. He is on the opposite of their drivers. He's on the passenger side. So Milton indicates for Piper to roll down the window. She rolls down the window and he immediately shoots past her at the accountant in the opposing car. It's funny. I did make a note here because Milton taunts or yells at the accountant and says, "What do you think you are?" And this is how he pronounces it in the film. Baron Samedi.
I thought he calls him Anubis the first time.
Nope. That's later.
Okay.
This time it's Baron Samedi.
Yeah, not I cannot remember how it's actually pronounced in Man with the Gold.
I thought it was Baron Samedi.
I think it might be in Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah. Samedi.
Is that actually like a legendary character? I gotta look that up now.
I think so, but I'm not 100%. So Milton has Piper get him the weird hell gun.
Yes, he is actually a mythical dude.
I thought so.
One of the Iwa of Haitian voodoo.
So the accountant and Milton quip back and forth a bit, and then Milton levels the hell gun and fires a bullet. We get nice slow-mo and effects that probably would have been really dope in 3D. And we see that the bullet is inscribed with the words Deus Velux Nex, which I tried to look up. Straight Latin translation is not going to quite cut it for this, but the internet is relatively
cool
in line with the translation being God's quick death or God's violent death, as far as what those words mean. The accountant whips his head to the side, narrowly dodging the bullet, but as it passes by his face, weird devil god magic actually like slices into his cheek pretty hardcore, despite the bullet not actually hitting him. It blows the passenger door off of his car completely, trying to really drive home how badass the hell gun is. Also, the accountant's car like crashes into the edge. They're on this like little bridge, not over water, but over like a dip in the landscape, and flips off the bridge. Their car sort of spins out and comes to a stop, and Piper runs to the ledge and check and asks what kind of gun that is. We cut back to the bull by the balls, and cops are investigating the massacre. And there's it's really funny because he's such a side character, but the captain of this it's a Colorado police department, right? And because they were in Colorado, where the two cops that followed the accountant that got killed by Milton at the bull and the balls were, but they're outside their jurisdiction at this point.
They're in California? What?
Colorado.
Oh, but I meant to say Colorado, but that still doesn't make too much sense if they're. He does not have a great sense of direction, does he?
I have no sense of direction whatsoever, and I'm also really bad at geography. but they're definitely Colorado officers, and they end up following them towards Louisiana.
I'm going to share this screen to show you where Colorado is versus where Texas is versus where Louisiana is. Because it makes no fucking sense.
Well, but before you get too invested in that storyline, I
too
can tell
late.
you that it doesn't fucking matter.
Here's the great state of Texas.
Yep.
The Lone Star State. Louisiana, right next door. So I know they had to stop in Oklahoma, so maybe they started like up here. Is this the Panhandle? Is that what that's called? Because you can grab it. How did they get the fuck up here?
No idea.
I don't know.
And then how'd they get the fuck back down here in 2 days? You know what? I don't care. This movie rules. Don't care.
Did they start in Texas or did they start in Colorado? Because
I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
this movie rules. Who cares?
Stillwater is in Texas, but I don't think we're certain that they were ever in Texas.
Yeah,
we know they were in Colorado, and we know they were going to
I
Louisiana.
assume they were in Texas when they were at the Bulls by the Balls, because that's a Texas ass bar.
Well, I do know they were in Oklahoma at some point too. They had mentioned being in Oklahoma. Yes.
Okay, but also doesn't matter.
Does not matter. This movie rules.
Yep.
So again, to just drive home the like amount of personality they put into characters that have no business having this level of personality.
Oh yeah, this dude rules.
We get the captain for the Colorado police who's investigating this massacre at the Bull by the Balls, and he is wearing fucking he's like wearing a fucking t-shirt and khakis, and everybody else is in like state trooper uniforms.
It's like a cool grandpa outfit.
It is a cool grandpa outfit, and he looks like a cool grandpa. But the funny thing is like one of the state troopers is like, "Sir, you're gonna have to leave this scene. This is a crime scene." And the cop behind cool grandpa is like, and is like, Captain, what do you think of the crime scene? And the dude who tried to kick him out is like, "Oh shit, that's a captain." So the captain finds the waitress that Milton was having sex with, but she is super incoherent. And we have another funny.
Oh no, she says what happened, that he killed some dudes while he was fucking her.
And then wait,
that's like all she says.
She devolves into repeating like the same thing over and over again. It was like, I've never even seen it. I didn't even see it. Something like that.
Which I'm assuming he's talking about the cage.
Yeah. But like he asks a couple questions, and like at one point he's like, "Yeah, get an ambulance out here." And after she talks a little bit more, he's like, "Get a psychiatrist out here too." So we cut away from cool grandpa captain, and there's just two stoner characters that stumble upon the scene of the accountant's crash, which was a cop car. He took one of the Colorado cop cars. And I'm trying to remember exactly how this goes because a lot of shit happened all at once. I think the door to the remaining door to the cop car like blows off of it, knocking one of the stoners on his ass. And the accountant crawls out. And one of them says Jesus Christ. And the accountant says something along the lines of carpenter. And despite popular belief, was not into long hair or something like that. It was like, at this point, I got a little confused. It was like, is the accountant supposed to be Jesus? Is he talking about himself, or is referencing having known Jesus? I think it was the latter.
I think it's the latter as well.
But the stoner that got like bashed in the face with the door is fine. He gets up and he's like, "You almost killed me." It's like, no, far from it. In fact, I'm not going to see you for another like 60 years or something like that. And he looks at the other stoner and he's like, "I'll see you in 3 months." And then walks off.
Oh, also, the song that was playing in the hotel room shootout was called "I Want the Candy" by the Ravenettes.
Oh, I know the Ravenettes. I don't recognize that song though.
It sounds like it's appropriately titled. Back to Milton and Piper. Milton tells Piper about Jonah King and his daughter while she drives and he reloads all of his guns. Jonah is a satanic magician of some sort. Milton's daughter got caught up in the cult and at one point she tried to leave, and Jonah broke her leg in 3 places. She then played the happy cultist for 18 months, according to Milton's telling, before seizing on an opportunity and stabbing Jonah in the face with his weird pointy satanic medallion. When questioned about the Hellgun, Milton explains that he only ever had 3 bullets for it, which is important. He had 3 bullets. He used one of them trying to take out the accountant and missing. However, at this point in time, they spot the cult van at like a little, it looks like a little church, and they pull over.
So it's actually the church that they use in The Devil's Advocate, that movie with Al Pacino.
Oh, and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that the movie where Pacino has the great ass line? I think it is. Or am I thinking?
No, you're thinking of Heat.
Oh, Heat, yeah, because
it's
such
Heat.
A cool fucking movie.
Yeah,
the only line
when I see a woman with a big ass, something comes over me.
the only line I remember from The Devil's Advocate is Keanu Reeves is in hell, and he's like, "Man, it's hot down here," and he's like, "Should I turn on the air conditioner?" He's like, "You have air conditioning in hell? Yeah, it ruins the environment." We should also take this opportunity to take an ad break, but we're going to play a game because I was kind of looking at the top Nick Cage kill counts, since we were looking at the kill count for this one. During our break, I want both of you to think, what movie do you think has the highest kill count for Nick Cage?
That's a good fucking question.
That is a good question.
So think about that while our listeners hit fast forward like 8 times to get back to us.
Wait, real quick, just to establish the rules. The number of people who die in a film, or the number of people Nick Cage kills?
I think that
Nick Cage has to kill him. Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
all right.
that Nick Cage kills.
Well, there goes my first guess.
Yeah, fucking knowing, I'm assuming.
Nope.
No.
Way more offensive.
Oh, no.
Not going to ruin it. Just think about it, listener.
A second Nick Cage has hit the World Trade Center.
you gave him the ad break to think about it.
I did. So what do you think is, because I was actually kind of surprised.
This is tough. I doubt it's Christmas Carol.
It's probably not Christmas Carol. I mean, my gut instinct is Face Off, but I know that's wrong.
It's a good guess. Face Off, he kills 20 people.
Wow, less than this. Wow.
No, I'm trying to remember if there's any major explosions in The Rock that would account for like an absurd number of potential murders. I know the film with the highest number of women that he drop kicks is definitely The Wicker Man.
It's definitely Wicker Man.
God, it's maybe Mandy. It's been a minute since I've seen Mandy.
No, so
Mandy's pretty low, I think.
Mandy is 10.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm gonna give you the number and then another 30 seconds that we'll get back to this movie.
Right.
Okay.
The number is 156.
That's
yeah,
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
156.
Now, are we talking proximate cause? Because like Lord of War could be considered a pretty high one. If
no, these are people that die directly by his hand.
Okay,
it's 156.
I'm gonna go with Matchstick Men.
Good guess, but no.
No, it's not.
I know, it was an awful guess. I was gonna let it lie.
Not. It's been a while since I've seen Bangkok Dangerous.
Bangkok Dangerous is a good damn guess because it's 52.
Yeah, I knew Bangkok Dangerous was higher, but I didn't think it was hitting the hundo.
So it's Wind Talkers.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh,
that
son
was
of a
be
bitch.
My next guess, because there's like artillery shots and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the most surprising one, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, 127.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That's a lot of kills. I don't remember that many kills in that film.
I know. Nick Cage has 667 kills on screen.
667?
Yep.
Oh.
I know. It was damn close.
What a missed opportunity.
Wait, does that mean he hit 666 in Renfield?
Let me see.
Yeah, he did. He would have had to have.
Yes. Yeah, because
Right?
he has 20 in Renfield, so he shot from 647 to 667 in Renfield.
Yeah, yeah.
That's appropriate though, right? That's pretty appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's a little bit of questionable trivia. What do you guys think the single character highest kill count is? Because I know this one off the top of my head, unless it's changed recently in terms of a single movie.
All movies.
In all of movies, yeah.
Oh,
Like one character for not in all of the movies featuring that character in one film.
I want to say Tony Montana, but I know it's wrong.
Released yet, right?
No, it is not Tony Montana.
Yeah, I know that. Oh, that was the record for the amount of fucks.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm going to double check. I'm going to check my math because this was correct a couple of years ago.
It must have sequels or prequels or something along those lines.
I'm
just
sorry.
Because of the way you worded the question.
So the one character, one movie, most kills.
I hate to give the nod to it, but depending on when you last looked at it, it has to be Thanos.
Oh shit, that might be right now. You might be right on that.
Literally half of all life in the known universe.
All right, if we're counting it only on screen kills, I think is the qualifier I have to add.
And also, I would argue that Thanos didn't kill anybody; he disappeared people.
Right, I'm double checking my math here.
But
well, I mean, they kind of all came back. I don't know. Fuck Marvel.
yeah.
Fuck those movies. They're bad.
Hit us.
I will fight you.
I need to know.
All right, it's White Heaven and Hell, the 6th Lone Wolf and Cub movie. Ogami Ito kills like 400 dudes
in one film.
In one movie, mostly with swords.
All right, I need a link to where I can get that film.
I can let you borrow my Blu-rays of it. It's fucking good. I mean, it's on Criterion channel too.
All right. I gotta check that.
But you gotta watch all of them. You gotta start at the beginning because like it's a build up to that big fucking battle in the desert.
That is absolutely fine. But we also have to get back to this because we haven't even hit my halfway mark for the storyline.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yep. So, church. They go inside, and it looks like a bunch of people at an actual church. It doesn't look like there's a cult thing going on. But of course, as soon as Milton sees somebody with a baby, he goes for the baby, and everybody in the church pulls a gun immediately. It's like a Mel Brooks film bit. Everybody pulls a gun right away. Milton is disarmed, and Jonah makes his entrance. Jonah goes on about how sacrificing the baby will usher in a new world. Then Milton tells everybody what happened the night his daughter was killed, implying that Jonah got his dick bit off and now he's dickless, and that leather motorcycle jacket dude saw it. Jonah, understandably, immediately shoots leather jacket guy in the head so he cannot corroborate this story, and then shoots Milton in the eye, right through his eye. Apparently, for all intents and purposes, murdering him dead. Piper freaks out, tries to fight off the restraining cultists, but is restrained again. Jonah King says he's more interested in breaking Piper instead of killing her outright. So they take her with them as she screams for Milton and continues to try and fight pretty hard to keep from being abducted. Back inside the church, Jonah taunts the body of Milton, explaining, by the way, Jonah has a really cool cane where the handle is like a full femur, and Jonah tells Milton's body that it's his daughter's femur, and he keeps it with him wherever he goes. So he leaves the church, and this is where we get the next Jim Jones style thing, because he definitely has exactly that style of sunglasses that he puts on when he steps outside the church, and they get into an RV that Piper has been thrown into and take off. Now, some cultists remain behind to clean up the church, but Milton pops up, still sans an eye, and shoots most of them dead. He then gets into the Charger, throws on some sunglasses himself, and peels out as the remaining cultists from the church pursue. This is the next point where I have to point out that almost all of the weapons in this film are some video game ass shit, because one of the cultists remaining in the church that gives pursuit has a fucking big revolver with a scope the size of the entire barrel attached to the top of it.
Oh, it's like one of those weird Fallout 4 weapons that you craft.
Yeah.
wildly not useful gun.
Yeah.
You're
What are
gonna
you gonna
take
do?
your eye out with that
Yeah,
thing.
you're gonna put like a full-on 6-inch long scope on a Magnum with a fucking kick like a mule? That's
God, it just
absurd.
makes me want to play Time Splitters.
Hell yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Shit, I have a copy of that in my house for the GameCube
Oh
downstairs right
fuck yeah,
now.
GameCube is where it's at for that game. They
I
released it on
know.
every system, but for some reason it just felt right there.
I mean, I,
So
I would argue the best port of Resident Evil 4 was on GameCube.
That was not a port, that was the original release. It was only for GameCube for an amount of time.
Oh,
Yeah, that was part of the Capcom's attempt to corner the market on Nintendo. They released that, Beautiful Joe, and at least one other game to try and as like a marketing push to attach themselves to the Nintendo name.
one of the
And
best games, or one of my favorite games I've ever played, was a GameCube exclusive. And I'm gonna have to look it
Killer
up.
7 was the other one. That was the other Capcom joint that they released on GameCube exclusive.
I'm gonna have to bite the bullet, look it up, and purchase it for whatever extortionate amount it is going for, and dig out one of my old GameCubes to play it again. Eternal Darkness,
Oh, that game rolls. Yeah,
one of the best games I've ever played.
one of the
Far
best
and away.
Lovecraft pieces of media I've ever like consumed.
Did you get the secret ending?
I did not. I think I only played it through rentals and like I'm pretty sure I got the regular ending, and that was before GameFAQs or like I had steady internet access or anything like that.
I know we're already going over, but I gotta pull it out. Yeah, it's a cosmic horror. There are 3 different gods vying for control of the universe, and each playthrough you pick a god to beat the other 2 gods. If you play through 3 times and defeat all of the gods by picking a different god each time, a 4th secret god is like, ha ha ha, I win, basically.
That's awesome.
You clear the field for the big bad. It's awesome. It's a great game. Anyway, in the RV, Jonah notices that Milton is back on their trail and makes a comment about it. And like the other cultists are like, didn't you shoot him in the fucking face? And he's like, yeah, man, if you're trying to bring in the new world and let hell walk on earth, you think the universe is just going to let you do this? We have a fight on our hands, which gave me a little chuckle. So we get a couple of things happening at once. There's some quick cuts in this scene. Piper starts fighting in the RV. There is again small screen time, large personality woman cultist with a gun who's like the one intimidating Piper. But after Milton shows back up on their trail, Piper takes advantage of the distraction and starts fighting people in the fucking RV. Meanwhile, Milton is being pursued by some number of vehicles carrying cultists from the church. He takes a detour through some kind of abandoned warehouse and takes out one of the vehicles. I think this is the one where he like skids to a stop, gets out and starts shooting at it. It's like an SUV.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, kills the person driving. This is in the trailer, by the way. Shoots the driver dead, but there's still like the car is barreling at him, but there's some sort of like a Jiffy Lube scoop out in the cement, and the truck or SUV just slams into it right before it can pancake.
Yes, I cracked up at that. I literally stood up and said, "That's fucking dope," and then laid back down on my couch.
Super cool. It's really awesome. We cut back to Piper, who's fighting the woman cultist with the gun, and in one of my favorite scenes, he just kicks her out the back window of the RV while it's driving. She hits the grass, survives, gets up on one knee. Milton flies past her in his car. She takes a firing stance, starts shooting at the back of his car, and then just gets mashed by another one of the pursuing cultist vehicles. Again, coolest possible outcome to that sequence of events. Back inside the RV, Jonah is threatening Piper, who immediately kicks him in the balls. Again, hilarious. Milton takes out another pursuing vehicle of cultists by shooting the car so hard with a shotgun that it explodes. Jonah, at this point, is getting the upper hand against Piper in the fist fight, and God damn it, we got to take a quick break for ads. Listen to the ads real quick, or press the fast forward button. We'll get right back into it. I promise. We're going to get you through this. Hang in there.
All right, stop hitting the button now because we're going to talk about this fucking movie again. It's fucking great. Let's do this.
Yeah. Milton takes a shortcut in an attempt to cut off the fleeing RV. Jonah is in the process of strangling Piper to death. Piper pulls off Jonah's medallion, the same one that Milton's daughter stabbed him in the face with years prior, and stabs him in the chest with it. This dude should have learned his fucking lesson.
Yeah, don't wear a pentagram.
Don't
wear less stabbable jewelry.
Yeah, don't wear like a improvised stabbing implement around your neck, at least after the first time you get stabbed with it. That's embarrassing to do.
So that's why most cultists wear the pentagram with the circle around it. Can't get stabbed with a circle. That's just science. You can't get
stabbed with that. Also, his is like weirdly elongated. Like it's perfect. It looks like a punch dagger more than a fucking upside
down. It's like a fucking ninja star.
Yeah. And also, by the way, we'll reference this later, but I'll call it out now. It's clear that he's wearing this because this is also the implement they use to brand and mark the cultists, which is again never explicitly stated, but it is very obvious.
Yeah,
which I'll get into. So he gets stabbed for a second time with his fancy necklace, learned no lessons whatsoever. And then he grabs a gun to shoot Piper, but Piper jumps out of the back window onto the hood of the Charger that Milton is driving. Jonah then pulls out what is quick to become his signature move in this film and does the old Western fan the hammer, not 6 feet away from his target, and misses every fucking shot. Yeah. He does damage the Charger enough that it stalls out. So the cultists, the remaining cultists in the RV speed away. Piper and Milton are stranded. Piper is understandably shocked that Milton is alive, but he offers no satisfactory explanation. Milton takes a look at the car. Piper then has a flashback, remembering all of the times she's encountered people that said they heard Milton was dead or said his driver's license was an antique, and asks if anything he said so far has been true. Milton declines to answer the question and indicates that they have to push the Charger off of the main roads to hide it because Piper has killed a cop, and that's probably not great. They might want to hide where they're going or where they've been. So they get to pushing the car, and we cut back to the church, the site of the second cultist massacre, where the accountant has showed up. One of the cultists is terribly wounded, but not yet dead. And the accountant questions the cultist about the cult and their connection with Milton, and gets some information primarily pertaining to the baby they stole. We don't get to see exactly everything that the cultist divulges to the accountant, but it's pretty apparent from here on out that the accountant has learned some stuff that changes his strategy or approach to his current job. Back to Piper and Milton. Piper ties a bandana around Milton's fucked up eye and talks about very briefly how she believes that demons and devils are real.
But she throws shade on my man Bigfoot, saying he's not real. That's just a lie.
I think Bigfoot's real.
Bigfoot is real. I believe in him. He believes in me.
He's just blurry. That's all.
He is just blurry.
Sorry, full credit to, I think it's Kyle Kinane. I think it was Kyle Kinane who made that joke.
I think it was the X-Files originally, and he stole that joke, because I definitely remember Mulder being like, well, Bigfoot's just blurry.
Either way.
Didn't Mitch Hedberg make that joke too?
He might have also made that joke.
It might not have been Kinane. It might have been Hedberg.
It might have been Hedberg originally, and then X-Files stole it, because that timeline would totally match up.
Either way, great joke.
Yeah.
So a tow truck pulls up at this point, and it's Webster, apparently a guy who knew Milton, and in fact carried his coffin when he died. Big twist.
Presumably
watching this movie with your eyes closed and your fingers stuffed in your ears.
Yeah. Presumably named after the protagonist of The Devil and Daniel Webster.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah, this movie is a lot of things, but subtle is not one of them.
Yeah, no, we didn't even like put the explanation on John Milton, the author of
Paradise
Lost, one
Lost.
of the
Yeah.
most famous books on the Satan's fall from heaven.
Yep. Yeah.
It's jam packed with surface level metaphor.
Yeah, it's a super dope movie that does the super dope move of making you feel smart for recognizing incredibly obvious references.
It's like the opposite of Ant Bully, where they named the bad guy Sam Beals and has his Beelzebugs as the fucking exterminator service, even though a Faustian deal should be Mephistopheles.
Yeah, no. Again, just another example of why this movie whips so much ass.
It's so much better than the Ant Bully.
So Webster asks Milton how this is possible, how it's possible that he's here. And Milton asks, have you heard about what happened to his daughter? Which Webster replies to in the affirmative. And Milton says, well, then you know why I'm here. This is apparently a good enough explanation for Webster because he tows the car and takes Milton and Piper to his place. And Milton's eye is healed at this point. It briefly is like a Sith eye, and then it's just a weird sort of heterochromia looking thing for the rest of the movie where it's kind of green and his other eye is normal, his regular eye color. Piper has a conversation with Webster and asks what the fuck the deal is with Milton. And so Webster gives some important backstory. Webster and Milton got caught up with a real bad crowd at some point. And after Milton had his daughter and they were stuck in presumably some type of criminal life where you don't quit, you have to die to get out, Milton disappeared to protect his daughter. At some point, in order to ensure that his daughter's protection was guaranteed, Milton up and killed all of the guys that were keeping them getting out of this particular bad crew, dying in the process and intentionally keeping Webster in the dark about it to give Webster the chance that he needed to get out of it and go straight with his towing service. Right? Very, very brief, but enough context is given for you to fill that out with very little effort. Again, good storytelling. So Milton actually does reveal to Webster and Piper at this point that hell is real, and in hell, it's not so much the fact that you're permanently on fire. That is the bad part. The main torture is that you have a constant, essentially, video feed of the suffering of everybody you ever loved in life. That's how he saw what happened to his daughter. And that's why he is so, forgive me for the pun, hell bent on righting some wrongs here. So Webster lets them know that unfortunately he can't do anything to fix their car, but he can get them where they need to be. He takes them to the garage and pulls covers off of two very nice cars, indicating at this point that Milton always favored the Chevelle, which is one of the two cars that he reveals. Again, I'm not a car guy.
Car guy shit.
There's a cool red one. There's a cool blue one. The red one is the Chevelle. That's the one that Milton is going to be interested in taking. So Jonah, unfortunately, has tracked them to where they are, and he calls the cops on them, which is a real bitch-made move. I'm just going to throw that out there. Webster wants to go with Milton and Piper to see this thing through to the end, and Milton says he can't go with him. And Webster's like, you're taking Piper. Like, why can't you take me? And Milton pulls Webster aside and has some words with him that we, the audience, are excluded from. Whatever he says is enough to placate Webster, and Piper and Milton go to leave, with Milton explaining to Piper, listen, I need you for this, but I'm not going to lie to you. This is incredibly dangerous, or we might not make it out. And Piper tells Milton that she's with him till the end, and they peel off in the red Chevelle. The cops, of course, immediately start chasing them. A bunch of them. Up ahead, cool Grandpa Captain has set up just a massive roadblock. There is a funny bit where he's like, listen, this guy killed two of our cops, so I need you all to be on point here. It's very important that you aim for their tires And when I say aim for their tires, I mean their fucking heads. So basically, shoot them dead when I say take out their tires. Milton and Piper get to the roadblock and they stop. The cops all level their guns. They're completely outmanned. There's no hope for our protagonists here. No way out. There's nothing they can do. The line stops here.
The thin blue line stops here.
Except, no, fuck that. That's for some weak-ass movie. In this movie, what happens is coming from the other direction of the roadblock is the accountant in a tanker truck. What is this tanker truck carrying, you might ask? Well, according to
Hindenburg
the massive word art on the side, it is a tanker of fucking hydrogen.
Also, a great music cue here. He is listening to That's the Way. I
yes,
like it.
That's right.
I forgot about that one.
While singing along to it.
The accountant plows the hydrogen truck into all of the cop cars from behind. While the truck is crashing into cars, he's like dragging one of the cop cars stuck along the side of the vehicle. He gets out of the driver's side door, stepping onto the roof of the cop car that's stuck and being dragged along with, again, if I haven't emphasized this enough, a tanker truck filled with hydrogen. And the hydrogen truck flips towards Milton, finally, like skidding sideways. And Milton, of course, floors it, driving underneath the flipping hydrogen truck before it fucking explodes in a glorious burst of terrible CGI. The cops open fire on the rapidly disappearing back of Milton's vehicle before turning all of their guns on the accountant, who flips his coin in the air again. And I'm like, what the fuck is he going to do this time? Same thing. He catches it and turns into an FBI badge. Nobody is fazed by this weird sleight of hand. Also, nobody just fucking shoots him when he makes a sudden movement to flip a coin, which is absurd, especially considering the fact that he just crashed a tanker truck filled with hydrogen into all the amount of property damage alone, people. So he's going about doing his FBI trick again, and then again does this weird sniff the air thing, and then just reaches out and rips the shirt off the front of one of the cops, who has the brand in the exact shape of Jonah King's medallion that he keeps getting fucking stabbed with on his chest.
And says a very badass line of, oh, it looks like you serve two masters.
Yes. In a lesser film, I would consider that ham-fisted, but my God, does it hit in this one.
Yes, it does.
It does. So he tells this cultist to call Jonah and tell him that Milton is dead. Cool Grandpa Captain is like, yeah, fucking do it. And the rest of the cops is like, lower your gun, stand down. This is the coolest FBI guy we've ever seen.
He's like them FBI men on the TV.
Yeah. So Milton and Piper continue on towards the abandoned prison in Stillwater. The moon in the sky looks pretty fucking full to me, but again, I have been counting days because too much cool shit's been happening. Milton straps himself all over with guns and heads inside, telling Piper to wait outside. Inside the prison, there is just a rocking cultist party happening. They're firing guns in the air. They're dancing naked. They're having a weird orgy.
There's a guy that looks like we have machete at home.
Milton sneaks back out to the car, but Piper is missing. She calls out, and it looks like the accountant has her as some kind of hostage. So Milton confronts the accountant, who is in fact holding Piper with a knife to her throat, and explains the hell gun. It's a gun that kills you, and if you're killed with it, you cease to be. No heaven, no hell. It obliterates your soul, basically.
It's that gun that Batman shoots Darkseid with in Final Crisis.
There you go.
The fucking bat deanimator.
Actually, another real quick aside. because we're already going to be going a little bit
Yeah,
longer.
yeah. I don't think we can stretch this to a third episode, so we're just going to have to be a little over on this one.
There's a cool, I don't know if it would qualify as young adult. It's just easy reading series by author named Simon R. Green called The Night Side, which is just a mishmash of folklore and cosmic horror and fairy tales, and it's really cool. And in it, they have a weapon called the Speaking Gun, which is a gun made of flesh that just says your true name backwards and uncreates you.
Damn.
Shit, I think I know where he got that fucking trope from. I gotta fucking find the name of that fantasy novel though.
It's a cool concept, and it appears in a bunch of shit, including this movie.
Yeah,
so, super neat.
Love a fleshy gun.
Yeah. So the accountant explains Milton wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the accountant's help, specifically to get past the roadblock. He threatens to hurt Piper and explains to Milton to hand over the God Killer gun. The accountant also implies that Satan's going to be real pissed when he realized Milton escaped with the God Killer gun, which is what I'm referring to it as from here on out, because they actually basically refer to it as that.
They do explicitly say God Killer gun. I had the subtitles on for this one for some reason, and that is actually what they call it.
Yeah. So when asked why the accountant is trying to assist Milton in any way, given the fact that he's been chasing him this whole time, Piper interjects and explains that the cultists have figured out how to bring hell on Earth. But I don't want to do this out of order. Okay, so I think this is where this happens. The accountant goes, "Oh, Milton, you didn't even explain what the devil is to Piper yet." And he goes on to explain that the devil, for all of his dressed up as being like evil incarnate, he's really just a prison warden and likes to read books and really hates that people think that things like killing infants in his name is something that he would appreciate and not absolutely loathe, which I thought was a fun characterization.
Yeah.
It's decent Satan. We also kind of find out here that the accountant's kind of a good guy, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Sort of. He's just a U.S. Marshal.
He's a bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Right, but like you kind of get a team up, and I enjoy a team up.
Yeah. But he does act a little dickish here, because he's basically like, Milton, what you got to do is I'm going to hold Piper hostage, and you're going to go in and do exactly what you want to do with the cultists. You fail, and you go back to hell, and I win. The cultists do their thing, but hell isn't going to come to Earth because they're fucking stupid, so I still win. Or you do kill all these guys, which is what I want, because they're being really insulting to my boss, and also I think they're reprehensible, so I also win. So there you go. Also, I've taken away the only thing that makes you a threat to me. So win, win, win. Again, they might be teaming up a bit here, but the accountant is 100%, juking the stats in his favor. It doesn't really matter from here on out. He's basically checkmated. So,
but in a cool way.
It is cool. So Milton goes to go about his business. We cut to Jonah, who's giving a weird cult speech to his screaming followers and prepares to stab the baby. But we hear the rumble of an engine, because Milton is jumping the Chevelle into the prison yard.
This might be the most angry that he drives the entire film.
Yeah, no, it's the angriest driving in all of Drive Angry.
And we get the song "Stone in My Hand" by Everlast. So if you don't know who that is a shitty white rapper from Boston.
Yeah, he did
he did Jump Around.
Right? That's
Jump Around, isn't that
I'm
House
gonna
of
wait.
Pain?
Yeah, and he was in House of Pain.
It was in House of Pain. Okay, all right, there we go. There's that connection. I was like, yes. I don't recognize that man's name, but I recognize House of Pain.
Sorry, listeners.
Back it up, back it in. Let me begin.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners from Boston, but fuck the Celtics. Your basketball team's trash. Also, fuck you. We just lost Boston. I'm sorry.
I have no opinion on Boston, but also don't just write us off because of Rich. I'm actually going to Boston next month.
I mean, I'll write you off for your signature beer. Sam Adams Boston Lager kind of sucks.
It's not terrible.
It's not as good as Yuengling, which I think is already a bad beer.
You let it be known that the Nick Cage Fight podcast is declaring war on the city of Boston.
Yes.
Incorrect. Listen, it's fine. Your accents are hilarious, and I know your favorite place is Dunkin' Donuts, but those things are fucking everywhere. Get a local bakery. They're better, I promise.
Yeah, you don't need your donkeys.
Anyway, again though, I'm going to Boston next month. I'm gonna fucking get super shit faced. So don't attack me on site. It's fine. I don't hate Boston. So not only does Milton crush several cultists as he lands the car in the courtyard, but several of them are on fire.
Because it's cooler. You light them on fire.
Why they're on fire
cooler.
at this point? There's no explanation for it, but some of them are on fire.
Who cares? Movie rules. Let's go.
Yeah, no, he just starts doing donuts in the courtyard of this prison, just shooting people from outside the car. More of them are on fire as he shoots them. Jonah does the fan the hammer move again, which does nothing.
He cannot hit a barn, the broadside of a barn.
This man does not learn any lessons. He doesn't kill anybody the first time he does the fan the hammer. He does it again, fails to kill anybody again. Gets stabbed twice with his own stupid fucking necklace. Terrible. Jonah gives the dagger to the cultist lady who has been caring for the baby thus far through the movie. Again, characters with very little screen time getting a personality sort of developed for them. It's her turn. So he gives her the dagger and tells her to cut the baby's throat when he says so. The accountant and Piper are spotted. They've now moved from this weird covered bridge that they were outside of the prison into like a tower overlooking the prison courtyard. And two cultists charge them. They're convinced they're about to kill these two. But the accountant is like, nope, that's not what's going to happen. He pulls out his coin. And I know what you're thinking. He's going to flip out an FBI badge, but cultists don't respect FBI badges. So that's not what the accountant does. He does the fucking Magneto move from First Class and whips this coin, which ricochets and murders two cultists.
Yes.
It's awesome.
It is so cool. I bet it looks fucking great in 3D too.
It probably does. Also cool is Piper, who has very clearly demonstrated her fighting spirit, takes absolute advantage of this distraction to take the God Killer from the accountant and stick him up with it. The accountant explains that even if she kills him with the gun, somebody else is going to come for Milton. Somebody is always going to come for Milton. There's nothing she can do to change this. She also tells her that Milton didn't steal this gun to kill him. It was just to slow him down so he could accomplish what he wanted to do. And that she really should go to him now while she still can.
All right, so quick aside, since I don't think we mentioned it, and we're already going over, the coin that the accountant has is an obelisk, which is an ancient Greek coin that you would usually put over the mouth of the dead as payment for Karen, the ferryman to down the river Styx, to pass you over to the afterlife.
That's fucking cool.
That is fucking cool.
Because it is awesome, which it does. It implies that the accountant is Charon. Which is
he's Karen. He's also Anubis, because Anubis is the one that weighs your deeds.
Yes, I'm sorry. By the way, the Anubis line was in the covered bridge when the accountant first takes Piper hostage.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I thought he calls him Wotan at that point.
He calls them both in that scene.
He calls them both in that scene. All right.
Yeah, he hit him with the Baron Samedi in the car chase quips, and then he hits him with the two references in the covered bridge.
All right, that's fair.
So yes, so the accountant advises Piper to go to Milton while he still can. There's another great funny bit. Jonah is now standing watching this devastation around him, and there's like some coolers around him, and he kicks the lid off of a cooler, and it's just filled with ice and beer.
Yes.
So he turns and kicks the lid off the next cooler, and it's filled with military grade fucking weapons.
Oh, did we mention the fucking sick beer line earlier with Webster, where Webster offers him a beer and he's like, I'm not going to drink a beer until I can drink it out of Jonah King's skull.
No, I skipped over that.
Okay, that is important setup for the best joke in the entire movie.
Well, there's also, I forget when this happens, but there's a scene where he's doing something that should make him very thirsty. And he says, no, I'll just drink my black coffee. And he just chugs it.
Yes.
Yes.
I forget when it happens, though.
God, this movie rules.
This movie rules so fucking much.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, so Jonah is now equipped with like one of those like fucking drum barrel shotguns.
The Striker from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. And Milton charges at it, just floors the car at him. But Jonah kicks over the cooler filled with ammunition and shoots it with the shotgun, which reacts exactly like you would expect it to in a video game.
Yes.
Causing a massive explosion and flipping the car.
I was half expecting to see red barrels around the fight arena at this point.
Honestly,
I wish.
I'm positive that was a heated discussion in the writers' room. Positive. So Milton climbs out of the wrecked car, shoots more cultists dead, while Jonah struggles with the jammed gun. His shotgun worked for one shot and then jammed. Another cultist shoots Milton in the back with a shotgun, and then starts beating him with what looks like a fireplace poker to keep him down. Jonah shouts for the caretaker to kill the baby. She can't do it. She drops the knife. Piper shows up at this point with the God Killer and attempts to kill Jonah, who dodges very, very quickly. And the cultist that shot Milton in the back gets hit dead center with this thing. And we get a load of bad CGI. There's
my God,
a fucking pentagram and weird rays of light shoot out. He flies back into the RV, which detonates like it was filled with at least 2,000 pounds of tannerite. It's amazing. Fucking awesome.
They really knew when to actually use like just the coolest shit in this.
Yeah.
God, I feel like this movie made me stupider by how rad it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a zone out the like I have like a guilty pleasure of liking mindless action movies, especially the ones that think they're clever, but it's just an action movie. The Mission Impossibles, the Jack Reacher movies. I'll throw one of those things on and wake up 2 hours later and just be like, wow, that was good. That was a great use of my time. This movie is that this movie is to fentanyl like the Mission Impossibles are to like morphine. It's such a higher concentration. You got to be careful with your action movie doses because this one, you're not ready for this one. This might be a hot shot. So the kickback sends Piper flying, and Jonah takes this opportunity to retrieve the ceremonial knife and then continues to beat Milton and demands that the baby be brought over to him. He can't help but get another taunt into Milton that what happened to his daughter will pale in comparison to what is about to happen to this baby. Milton says he's going to kill him, and Jonah says he's armored with power that Milton couldn't even understand. Nothing of this earth could kill him. The accountant shows up at this point, which distracts Jonah. Jonah looks back at him, and the accountant winks, and Milton is able to grab the God Killer, which is what he has been crawling towards this whole time, turns and shoots Jonah in the chest with it. We get more bad CGI.
It's phenomenal.
This is the best CGI I have ever seen. It looks like a fucking ending cutscene for an FMV game from the mid-90s on Sega Saturn. It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like
no, not even the Sega Saturn, the Sega CD.
Sega CD, yes. It's like Night Trap up in here.
It's like one of the you just beat the game videos for like the old school Twisted Metals.
Yes.
So Jonah King is launched into the air again, blazing pentagram, beams of light, and then all of the flesh gets CGI cooked off of his body till he's just meat, and then he explodes. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The explosion is just the start. He explodes into a bunch of pieces. A vortex opens behind him and sucks all of the pieces in, and then the vortex violently closes, throwing the only remaining piece of him left, which is just the top half of his skull covered in blood, which spins to the ground in a really satisfying fashion. So at this point, the accountant walks up to the caretaker and takes the baby from her, has a couple of words with her, which is like
really cool lines.
Yeah, it's like tell me the truth. Would you have really done it? Would you have killed the baby? Would you have let the baby get killed? And she doesn't say anything. He's like, that's what I thought. See you in a couple months. The casual reveal of when people are gonna die from this guy is one of my favorite.
It is
things.
pretty
so
good,
real quick is that is essentially what he says, but the way he puts it is I don't know. I thought it was just super cool because he goes up to her and he basically says like, so tell me, you you wouldn't have killed the baby, right? And she kind of shakes her head, and then he looks at her and says, but you wouldn't have stopped it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. No. I seldom correct you on things like that, but I just thought that was so fucking
Yeah, that's
cool.
usually my job.
Yeah.
But like that was so it just stood out in my head. But you wouldn't have stopped him.
Yeah.
And I think he just says see you later. Not I forget. He may have said see you in a few months. I don't remember.
It was
But he implies
that
she is going to hell.
Yeah.
So the accountant takes the baby over to Milton, who has seen better days. He's like propped up against a tree stump and looking worse for wear. The accountant hands him the baby, and Piper comes over, and Milton tells Piper he's finished in several senses. He's accomplished his mission, and he's going to expire. At least that's the sense that he gives Piper. He also explains that he wants her to take his granddaughter and love her and care for her and make sure she has a good life. And she's like, yeah, no, I'll fucking kill anybody who tries to hurt her. And Milton's like, yeah, that's why I picked you. And at this point, Webster pulls up in the remaining vehicle that they didn't take, which explains to us without saying as much exactly what Milton told Webster back at Webster's scrapyard to keep him from going with them directly. He's supposed to take him back and get Piper set up so she can care for the baby, perfectly squaring our storytelling circle here. So Piper promises, and then Milton does seem to die. She's torn up by it, but she goes over to Webster with the baby. And when she looks back, Milton and the accountant have disappeared. It's just the empty, besides the bodies of a number of cultists, courtyard of this prison. So they drive off, and we see the accountant with the god killer hanging on his shoulder as Milton drinks a beer from the skull of Jonah King. And they have a little back and forth about Milton's performance, pretending to die. And then the accountant conjures a vehicle for them to leave in, and Milton says, he's like, look, I'm just gonna bust out again. And the accountant's like, what? Why? Like you got nothing left to do here. You did what you wanted to do. He's like, yeah, but that place sucks, and if you're gonna make me stay in a place that sucks, I'm gonna try and get out.
Did you mention that he's drinking beer out of the skull?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
100%.
All right. I missed that.
Also, you guys can
The
fact
cat was
check
doing
me on
something
this,
weird.
I'm not 100%, but that car that gets conjured by the accountant looks
It's the car from the beginning.
Yeah.
It also looks very, very familiar. Is this Nick Cage's personal super classic car that is also seen in The Sorcerer's Apprentice?
No.
it's
Super
not.
Classic was a 1921 fucking something. I remember it was from the 20s.
Yeah, this is that 64 Buick again.
Nope.
This is a different one, really.
This is a 1957 Chevy Bel Air.
Oh, okay.
And I actually knew that without looking it up because my uncle had a 55 Bel Air.
Look at this guy bragging about his uncle.
There's no cars.
Yeah, well, he's dead as shit now, so who cares?
A lot of uncles are dead.
Yeah.
But not the ones that follow us on Facebook. Anyway,
that's right.
The conversation between the accountant and Milton is pretty jovial. They are friendly at this point. There's obviously they're in contention with each other as far as their overall goals and drives, but they're being friendly here. In fact, the accountant lets Milton drive the vehicle as like a portal opens to hell, and they drive back, and the movie closes on Milton sort of semi starting to smile as he drives himself back into hell with the accountant as his passenger. And fuck yeah, this movie fucking ruled.
And then we get
really
to hear,
did.
and then we get to hear "Drive Angry," a song by Weston Cage, which is Nick Cage's son, who is apparently in multiple black metal bands.
Dope.
Very dope.
The more I learn about this movie, the more I love it.
So as I was kind of watching this, I was thinking about where am I putting this on my personal rankings. So I was looking at the rankings like the last 5 minutes, and I'm just like, okay, number 1, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's too high. Get that shit out of the top 5. Yo, this is a top 3 movie for me.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah.
This is going. So also, I've decided that while it's going to be number 3, it's going to be Moonstruck, Raising Arizona, Drive Angry.
Yeah. Okay.
But Drive Angry is getting a 5.5 out of 5 for me.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, I do agree with that. This movie was so fucking cool. It was just awesome. It's gonna knock Rumblefish out of the top 3 because Rumblefish is art. This is fucking rad, and I'm
This
sorry,
is the
rad
opposite of
beats
art.
I'm almost afraid to know what we're gonna have to watch next because it's gonna pale in comparison just by virtue of this being such a banger.
I know, and we're gonna find out.
I don't understand how we and so many people have slept on this film. It's crazy.
I don't know how I've never seen this. I used to make sure I'd go to see any movie that had 3D tacked on the end because I love that shit. Gives me a headache, but I love it.
Holy shit, guys!
What?
Holy shit!
Right,
Do you know what's next? You know what's next? We're gonna get
Astro
2 bangers in a row.
Okay.
Wild at Heart.
Oh fuck yeah! I know Wild at Heart rules. Ooh, Wild at Heart's wild in a completely different way.
I'm excited.
Oh
shit,
boy!
That means I gotta watch The Wizard of Oz this week too.
Sorry,
you
I
guys
got
have not
so
seen
excited.
Wild at Heart.
I haven't seen Wild at Heart.
I
What's
have
the
not.
connection with
You
fucking
should.
Wizard of Oz?
Glenda the Good Witch is a character in Wild at Heart.
What?
Yes, she shows up in the movie.
Isn't Wild at
fucking
Heart?
wild.
It's a David Lynch movie, right?
It's a David Lynch movie, yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking Cheryl Lee, Laura Palmer herself, plays Glenda the Good Witch.
Okay, so Ryan is gonna love this next episode.
This next one, I'm just gonna talk about David Lynch a lot. I love me a David Lynch.
which is fine. I don't think any of us are gonna have a problem with that.
No,
But-
not even a little bit.
But before we move on completely from Drive Angry, this is getting the official seal of approval, must watch. I know
Yeah,
we
this
laid
is a
everything out
must-watch.
for you here, but much like Between Worlds, this is one you got to fucking see. If you're listening to this podcast, I know you have friends that don't listen to this podcast. Show it to them. Look rad. Be awesome. Fuck
And
it. Be a
Drive
legend.
angry.
Right.
Drive angry.
This is one of those movies that we weren't expecting much, and that we get hit in the face with like a Between Worlds, Kill Chain, Bad Lieutenant, fucking Kiss of Death.
Reminded why we set off on this venture in the first place. This is the kind of thing where it's like, I guarantee you, I'll bet most of the people you know haven't even heard of this film. Show it to them, and after you're done cleaning the shit out of their pants, accept their praise for your fantastic taste in cinema.
Cinema.
Amazing. A great film. I am excited for Wild at Heart. We're already well over. So, follow us on social media. Watch this movie and tweet at us and tell us how right we were and how much this movie whips ass. You can find us on Twitter at cagefight_pod. We also have a Patreon that I cannot recommend enough to listen to this specific episode without ads. Do yourself a favor. Don't sell yourself short. Where's our Patreon, Rich?
Patreon.com/Nick Cage Fight. Every episode without ads.
Most importantly, this one.
If we get to what is my personal goal? 20. I think Ryan's 10, you're 30, so I gotta be 20. Get to 20, send me to Boston.
We'll send them to Boston. It'll be like the second Die Hard movie. We'll send them there with a sandwich board that
Die
says
Hard
"I
with a
hate
Vengeance.
Bostonians."
That's the third or fourth one. The second one's the one with William Sadler.
No.
Oh, gotcha.
I will do that on a regular day.
And Dennis Franz.
I will go to Boston. I will watch a Celtics game. I will wear a Celtics jersey. That is actual hell for me. Like
but afterwards you have to walk the streets of Boston filled with drunk people from Boston wearing a sandwich board that on the front says "I hate the Celtics" and on the back says "I hate Dunkin' Donuts."
Yes. Okay. Yes, I will do that. 20 Patreon subscribers. I'll videotape it.
I might not let you do that. You might not make it out of it.
Yeah, you're not making it out alive. If there's one thing I know about Boston, thanks to Marky Mark and his Funky Bunch, it's that they are violent people.
No. Listen, I have been in no less than 4 Philadelphia riots. Boston's Bush League.
Okay, all right. No, that is fair, but that's a hometown, so we can't really slander Philly.
All right, I was in Philadelphia when the Phillies won the World Series. Like, riots.
I don't know if there's enough room in your pockets to fill with enough D-cell batteries to defend yourself in Boston if you start insulting their culture.
I wonder if there's a statistical thing with Philadelphia where like a bunch of kids were born 9 months after that night.
Yes, and they're all named Chase.
They're all named Chase, yes.
Shit. Look, my day job.
Our relationship's gonna be a real home run.
My day job, I know we referenced this before, but I'm an analyst by trade. I kind of want to look into birth rates and popular baby names locked to geographic regions and time periods to see whether or not that's true.
Yeah.
It's got to spike. It's got to spike the numbers. I think you guys are right. I'm going to look into it.
Listen, I'm saying like in so what would it have been? It would have been like July of 2010. You're going to see a lot of Chases, a lot of Ryans, a lot of Jimmys,
and just a spike in birth rates.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I'm gonna check it out.
America's Pastime got people feeling amorous.
There you go. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of my favorite movies we've ever talked about. Join us next time for Wild at Heart. I'm expecting big things now that I know it's got references to the Wizard of Oz.
Heavy Wizard of Oz references. And Willem Dafoe wears the most fucked up mouthpiece.
Oh, Dafoe's in it too? Oh,
Dafoe's in it too? Fucking Laura Dern? Oh, this movie rules.
All right, I'm into it. We needed this.
We're gonna have a big shakeup at the top 5. I feel
I think so. Yeah, Wild at Heart, I know is gonna land in my top 3,
like
because it's both insane and art.
Like we're gonna be very, very top heavy and very bottom heavy. I feel
I'm gonna need to buy a snakeskin jacket to represent my individuality.
Yeah, like look at it. We got Moonstruck. We got Raising Arizona. We got Rumblefish. We got Kill Chain. We got fucking Between Worlds, Bad Lieutenant, Vampire's Kiss. Now we got to throw in Wild at Heart and Drive Angry.
Listen, by the time we're done and we have our definitive ranking list and also the most complete compendium of plot synopsis of every film Nicolas Cage has ever been in, when they mint these episodes and put them in the Library of Congress, you look at our top 5 to top 10, and that is must watch cinema.
My only
Drive Angry is going to be there.
My biggest goal is for this podcast to be used as a reference in an academic paper. I want to see what the MLA formatting is for using a citation source of a podcast.
Source? 3 dipshits, bro.
3 dipshits, bro.
Listen, three dipshits in 2023 told me this movie rules.
And they were right. I'm sorry. I know we don't always get it right, but Drive Angry is a fucking awesome movie. Go watch it.
So cool.
Thanks for
I'm going to tell all my friends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, recommend this and become the coolest person in your friend group. I guarantee. That's the Nick Cage Fight Podcast guarantee. You will not go wrong recommending this one. Go about your lives. Do your thing. If you're commuting to work, please get in there and do as little as possible for as much money as possible. Thank you for tuning in. We love you, listeners. And as always, we appreciate you.
Oh, bye-bye.